So today we're talking about volume levels, and in particular the volume levels within your breakdown. Now when it comes to making your breakdown and you're building things back up again, you're kind of adding elements in there, creating this big crescendo, and in general you're probably raising the volume. The only problem with that is that you get to the end of the breakdown and you've built it up so much that when the track comes back in again, it no longer feels like it has that presence. It doesn't have that bang of hitting back in again. But with this simple tweak that I'm about to show you, we'll be able to bring that energy back in again. So I'm back again with another one of my tips. Every day this January, I've got a brand new music production tip for you. And today's tip is all about volume levels within your breakdown. Now this is a little tip that I learned from a producer friend of mine, and it's something I'd never even thought of before, but it makes so much sense. When you're building your breakdowns and you're building that build up, you're kind of raising the energy level. You're kind of adding more and more stuff in there, creating this big crescendo towards the end of the breakdown, and then everything comes back in again. But the problem is, most of the time is you're building it up so much that the payoff isn't there. So when everything comes back in again, it hasn't got that big thump that you need. Now this tip is all about automating the volume levels of the whole track. And it's genius. It really is genius, and it's something I've never thought of before. So let's dive into Ableton and I'll show you how it works. So we've got one of my tracks in front of us and we're looking at the main breakdown for that track. Now I've got a whole load of stuff going on within here. I've got this kind of snare build up happening, these reversed vocal effects. I've got a vocal here that's repeating and reverb is being added to it. Basically everything kind of culminates around about here. It all builds up to about here. Then it breaks out to just this single vocal, and then the beat comes back in again. Now the only problem with this is that this vocal then feels quite quiet compared to this big build up that happens here. I'll play it back so you can hear what I mean. Now that vocal stays the same level throughout, so I don't really want to be increasing the level of that vocal. It will just sound weird on its own being too loud. So what am I going to do about it? Well, this is where this technique really comes in handy, and it's all about automating the volume on the master channel. Now you don't tend to do that much kind of automation on the master channel, at least I don't anyway, but this is really, really handy, and it's all about being really subtle with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a utility on the master channel before anything else. So these are my mastering plugins. I'm going to put it on before that. And what we're going to do is we're going to automate the gain. So I'm going to go to show automation on the gain. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a point in at the start of the breakdown. So this is the very, very, very start of the breakdown. And then towards the end of the breakdown, I'm going to put another point in. I'm just going to take it down in volume, maybe just by about maybe 3 dB. Not too much at all, just a really kind of subtle amount. And what I want to do is I want to then bring it back up in volume for when that vocal comes back in again. So that vocal comes in about here. So I'm going to bring that back up to 0 again. So what this is basically doing is it's very slowly doing the volume level over time. It's only 3 dB, it's not much at all, but it's doing it so slow over time that the audience won't even notice that the volume is being taken away. But when it comes back in again, it will just give it that impact that it needs. So this is how it sounds now with the full breakdown. It's such a simple technique. I can't believe I hadn't thought of it before. Before he showed me it, I was actually automating the individual tracks, just the ones that were kind of causing issues within the breakdowns. I was automating them, but this makes so much sense and it works so well. And in fact, your audience won't even notice it. They won't even notice the volume levels going down because you're doing it by such a fine amount over a long amount of time. So your brain can't even comprehend that it's happening. But at the end of the breakdown, you've got that 3 dB to then pump it back up again and you get those energy levels back again. So yeah, it works so well. It's such a great technique and I definitely recommend giving it a try. And if this video has been useful to you, then definitely subscribe to my channel. As I mentioned, I've got a brand new music production tip every single day this month. So definitely subscribe and hit that notification icon so you're notified the moment that video pops up online. And hopefully I'll see you again in the next video.